You gonna hold the fort down, baby girl? Mama and Dad are gonna go adventuring. Go, baby. We go, baby. Good morning. If you're new here, I'm Krista. That's my husband Garner, who's not happy with me right now. Neither of us are happy because I got us up at dark 30. Finney is back home holding the fort down, and if you've been here before, you'll know that I'm on a quest to check off 1,000 plus bucket list items. We got up at dark 30 to check off bucket list item number 7, which is visit the White Pocket, Arizona area. We're doing a tour because we didn't want to drive there. We don't have a 4x4. The sun is bright. So here we go. Meeting up 7 a.m. I will not see very many sunrises in my life, but unfortunately I saw one this morning. So let's go to White Pocket, Arizona, and go on this adventure. You ready, Garner?
Nope.
Nope, me neither. For this adventure, we booked our tour with Antelope Canyon Tours. They had great reviews, offered small group tours, and the price was surprisingly reasonable for such a remote and unique destination. Getting to White Pocket isn't exactly a quick trip. From Page, the drive takes about 4 hours once you factor in several stops along the way. But honestly, that's part of the adventure. There are 2 main routes you can take to reach the area from Page, a north route and a south route. We decided to take the south route on the way out and then return via the north route so we could experience completely different scenery and landscapes along the way. Our first stop is at the Navajo Interpretive Center. There's this huge bridge here where condors live. And I remember coming here just before COVID on a photography tour, and I have a lens cap that fell somewhere in that area. So I don't know why I remember that, but a little piece of me was unfortunately left behind. But now we're gonna see if we can find some condors. One of our first stops was the historic Navajo Bridge, located within Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. The original bridge here opened in 1929 and was once the only way to cross the Colorado River for hundreds of miles. Standing about 467 feet above the river, it was the highest steel arch bridge in the world at the time it was built. Today, the historic bridge is used as a pedestrian walkway, while a newer bridge next to it carries highway traffic across the canyon. But the bridge is also famous for something else. It's one of the best places in Arizona to see the endangered California condor. With wingspans reaching nearly 9.5 feet, these massive birds often nest and roost on the cliffs and under the bridge, making this spot one of the easiest places in the world to observe them in the wild. Watching these birds soar through the canyon really puts their size into perspective. When a California condor spreads its wings and catches the wind, it can glide for miles without even flapping, riding the warm air currents rising from the canyon walls. I don't think I would win this fight. Condors are scavengers, meaning they feed mostly on carrion, and they can travel more than 100 miles in a single day while searching for food. Each bird also has a numbered wing tag and often a small tracking device, which helps biologists monitor their movements and survival in the wild. They're also incredibly long-lived birds, sometimes reaching 60 years or more. And honestly, if I were here on my own, I'd probably spend the entire day just sitting here watching them. As we started the drive out towards the canyon country, the landscape quickly began to open up in that unmistakable southern Utah and northern Arizona way. Wide basins, long stretches of desert brush, and those layered rock formations that seem to rise out of nowhere in the distance. It's the kind of drive where the horizon keeps expanding the further you go, and every bend in the road reveals another shift in color and texture, from pale sand to deep reds and rust tones. What makes this route even more interesting is that parts of it follow what's known as the Mormon Honeymoon Trail. Back in the late 1800s, couples from Mormon settlements in Arizona would actually travel long distances to St. George, Utah, to be married in the temple there. Afterward, they'd return home along these same rugged paths, sometimes on horseback, sometimes by wagon, making this road both a practical route and a symbolic one for new beginnings. Driving it today, you still get a sense of that history layered into the landscape, even as the modern road cuts through some of the same remote, wide open terrain. Thank you. was a very long and bumpy ride, but we have made it to White Pocket. And so now it's time to go do a little exploring. Do not come out here without four-wheel drive. I was thinking, oh, we could have maybe done this in the truck. No, our truck's a two-wheel drive. Do not come out here without a four-wheel drive. From the parking area, the walk out to White Pocket immediately sets the tone for what this place is like. The trail isn't really a trail at all. It's soft, deep sand that slows every step and makes you feel just how remote this place really is. There's no shade, no structures, just the sound of your boots sinking in and the wind moving across the open desert. But that's part of what makes the arrival so special. After a short walk across the sandy expanse, the landscape suddenly changes in a way that almost feels unreal. The ground opens up into swirling stone formations, bright whites and oranges twisting together like they were painted by hand. It's one of those moments where you go from empty desert to something that feels completely otherworldly in just a few steps. I was finally going to do it. I was going to be brave and actually fly my drone for the very first time. Oh, I'm gonna need my phone.
I was just wondering about that. I was like, I think you're gonna need this to.
I'm gonna need my phone, guys.
I
had gotten it as a birthday gift a few years ago, but it mostly just sat there because I was honestly too nervous to risk crashing it. But out here, in a place this wide open, it felt like the perfect moment to stop overthinking it and just go for it. Time to turn it on, let it take off, and finally let it stretch its wings. From above, White Pocket looks almost unreal, like a frozen wave of stone. These swirling patterns are actually ancient sand dunes turned to rock over millions of years, now sculpted by wind, water, and time into something completely otherworldly. I just gotta make sure I'm high enough. Look at that. I'm flying. Flying over White Pocket, you really start to understand just how unique this landscape is. What looks like abstract art from above is actually Navajo sandstone, massive ancient sand dunes that were buried, compressed, and transformed over millions of years. The swirling layers and ripples you see are cross-bedding, basically the preserved shape of those old desert dunes frozen in stone. Iron oxide stains give the rock its reds, oranges, and creamy whites, while erosion has carved out the soft, flowing forms that make this place feel almost unreal. This entire area sits on the Paria Plateau within the Vermilion Cliffs region, and it's incredibly remote, one of those places that still feels untouched. From the air, it's easy to see why it feels less like Earth and more like another planet entirely. All right. Ooh, oh. Look at how cool that is. Okay, it's so weird when you can't see it. Oh, okay, hold on. I need to go higher.
So we have lost the drone. We don't know where it is.
Well, we haven't lost
it's up in the sky. Well, I mean, it's up in the sky.
Return to home.
We don't know where it is. I can't see it, so hopefully the return home button will actually bring it back.
Building can block RC signal. I think I need to be... I think I flew it too far for the first time. Oh, there it is. There it is. He's coming down. Oh, that was way up there. Welcome home. Nope. First flight, a success. Just lost it for a minute, but I got it. Ooh, that was a little stressful though. A little stressed out. I cannot tell you how cool that was to put my drone up for the first time. And I put it up twice and landed it twice. Knock on wood, no crashes. So now I'm gonna explore this landscape a little from foot, not from bird's eye, because it's pretty incredible here. This is stunning. Losing a little bit of my sky this direction. Still got some that direction. So hopefully some more clouds will roll in. I can't believe I got my drone up and didn't crash it. Yay! Incredible. This view right here, right there. The phone, the camera does not do this justice. If you have any opportunity to get a trip out to White Pocket in Arizona, do it. This is amazing. I am checking off bucket list number 7 with nothing but awe and amazement, and definitely a lot of gratitude. Incredible. It's just incredible. Does not matter where you walk. It's incredible. The wind died down for just a second. Wow. The plan was to photograph my new hat pattern. This is the Veiled Sands hat. The link to the pattern's in the description below. Plan was to photograph it here, but it is so bright and hot. I need my shaded hat, and I don't need wool on my head right now, but it looks pretty beautiful out here. The nice waves of the hat to go with the waves of the rocks. That was the plan, at least. It's time to make our way back to our vehicle, have some lunch, and move on. This is officially bucket list item checked off. Hey, Garner, you ever heard of this place?
Nope.
Pretty cool?
Yep.
Is it hot?
I mean, that's actually not that bad.
It could be worse.
All things considered.
Is it sunny?
Definitely sunny.
Yeah. Bring water, bring a nerdy, sexy hat, and sunscreen. And you'll be good. Ready to go eat some lunch?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. My time here at White Pocket has come to an end. Absolutely loved being here. Would 100% recommend this as long as you are sure-footed and you got good ankles or good hiking boots. I'm gonna say I'm checking this off the list, but I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying until next time, because I think I want to come out here someday for the Milky Way. I think that would be pretty epic. So goodbye, White Pocket for now. See you next time. This spot has been on my bucket list for one simple reason. It always felt incredibly out of reach. So few people ever make it out there, and it gives the whole place this quiet sense of isolation that's hard to find anywhere else. The landscape itself doesn't really look real. It's unfamiliar in the best way possible, like I've stepped into a completely different version of the world that doesn't exist anywhere else I've been. And that's what I'm always chasing on so many of these bucket list adventures, getting out of the noise of the city and into places like this. Strange, quiet, wide open landscapes that remind me just how much is still out there waiting to be explored. In this video, I feature the Veiled Sand hat, and the link to the pattern is in the description below. And I want to go ahead and weave my beginning of round tail in. I liked it to have some time to sit in the fabric before I cut it. And so I've also got a really long tail, which I don't need. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim that down so it's a little easier to work with. Grab my tapestry needle. Now, normally when you weave in a tail, of course, you wanna weave it into the wrong side. However, this wrong side shows because the rim rolls up like that. The brim rolls up like that. So what you want to do is weave that tail into the front, the public side, so that when it rolls up, it disappears. You don't see it. So first thing is I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle, and I'm weaving in both the mohair and the regular yarn together. I don't always do that, but for here I do. And unroll that brim, and now I like to weave to the left because I'm right-handed. But you basically just want to take that needle and we're going to corkscrew it up one of these columns of knit stockinette stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going in from right to left, and I corkscrew around and pick up the stitch above it, corkscrew around, stitch above it, and just doing that for a few stitches. Now, if you're fighting it, if you're not able to easily go into those stitches, then you're corkscrewing the incorrect direction. I am going clockwise with the needle, and go up just a few stitches like that, pull it through. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to pucker this edge. And now go behind the stitch above. So you can see this yarn is coming out right here. I'm going to go up and behind that stitch that's above it, pull it through, turn the piece, and now we're going to go down a column. So where that needle's coming out, corkscrew from, now I'm going from left to right because I've turned my piece upside down, so now I'm going the other direction, and I corkscrew, and I am still going clockwise, corkscrew down, pull it through, and notice that I'm not pulling anything too tight. I'm just pulling it enough until it disappears. So you can see, well, I guess you can't see where that yarn goes. It's just completely disappeared right in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. If this is going to be like for a child or something that's going to get a lot of pull and play and tear and washes and all that, you might want to go up another column and down another column. But because this is for me and I'm gentle with my knits, I'm not going to worry about going again. And so now there is the tail hanging out. I don't clip my tail yet. As with all my projects, I'm going to put a little knot in it, and that notes to me that that tail has been woven in. But once I'm ready to clip, it will just disappear up into that brim. You won't see that tail at all, and it's nice and beautiful and flawless.